will we tell the council?
Tell them this show sucks.
It's the moment everyone's been waiting for, the finale of The Acolyte. If you're wondering if the writing gets any better from here on out, newsflash, it shouldn't be any surprise, but it doesn't. Look how proud he looks of his girlfriend. And nothing bad can come from this, right?
Musha.
So clearly we see that the forest is, or the dark part of the forest is something that her family has also used, because we've seen the witch's eyes turn black like this too. Did he not foresee this happening? If he had left the helmet on, would it have crushed her head? Honestly, that would have been way more entertaining. Been in the room, would she have died? I really would like to know the answer to that question, but it's clear that this dark realm is the same dark realm that we see Osha and May's mother in when she's trying to seduce Tommen, sorry, whatever. It's funny how they portray the witches like this, or people who use the force in this matter, but somehow the Jedi are the bad guys and they're completely innocent.
May. I saw May.
Good lord, that was horrible acting.
May. I saw May.
This is literally the face she wears the entirety of the episode.
She had her hand outstretched. She was killing Soul.
Oh, so now they're gonna have to find Soul to save him, because he's just as stupid as everyone else, but he's at least a somewhat likable character when he feels human, except he's a Jedi, so they've been making him look like he's the evil one all along because he lied to them and because he was trying to do the right thing.
Where is she?
She had a saber in her hand, but she didn't use it.
This is the future you saw. She can kill with no weapon.
Huh. I wonder if we're gonna find out later on that killing with no weapon is actually synonymous with actually killing with a weapon, but it's a different type of weapon. If her hand was outstretched, that means that she must have been using the Force, which means that she's using the Force as a weapon.
But the future isn't fixed. I can still stop her.
With what ship? I'm taking mine.
I'm going where exactly? I've seen where they are.
So we go together. And see who gets to her first.
Wow, I am stupid as hell. I am so stupid. I know people are gonna be laughing at me for this, but you're saying that there were two ships there the entire time? I took it to mean the first time I watched this that they were going together in the same ship, but it appears that they have two different ships? Oh, who cares? So anyway, we see Sol talking to May, who's still tied up, and she's trying to get out of her restraints. Sol says that the Jedi are going to be meeting them there. He said, now that you and Osha are still alive, I can prove that the Vergence has been used to create you, and there is a Vergence on that planet. I mean, they could have done this a long time ago, but whatever. Shame they don't have surveillance or a way to take video. I still find it very perplexing as someone who is new, sort of, to the Star Wars universe, that they have warp speed. They can cut from one side of the galaxy to the other in a matter of what seems like freaking seconds. They have all this technology. And when you look at these people who are spacefaring people and traversing across the universe to see other planets in an instant is nothing for them. I still find it so perplexing that they have no concept of cell phones or even just like cameras they can carry around with them to record things for proof's sake when life and death and matters of it are at hand. Really?
Now that you and those are both alive, I can prove it.
You could have proven it back then too when they were alive. Oh, whatever.
Prove what? That murdering our mother was justified?
What happened to you, to your coven, was an accident.
An accident? If it was an accident, then why didn't you tell Osha? Why did you lie to her? Why did you blame it on me?
You started the fire. You locked everyone in.
Because the Jedi invaded our home.
Okay, so even if that was your reason, it's still your fault. Like, bro, what is it with these mental gymnastics of people avoiding accountability? I just don't understand it. We're supposed to somehow be rooting for this person being the victim when, yeah, she was a child, but it is your fault that you burned everyone down. Like, you burned the whole rock castle down, which in and of itself is a freaking feat to be able to do something like that. But anyway, it happened. And you did lock people inside. You locked your sister inside to prevent her from leaving, and not once does she ever have any remorse to say, maybe I shouldn't have done that. I was old enough to know that that was probably not the right thing to do, but I thought I was doing the right thing, and it was my fault. She didn't accept any of that accountability whatsoever. Had it been any other normal person, you know, guilt, especially survival's guilt, would have come into play, but not with her. But she's the good guy? You don't believe me that she's the good guy, but that's exactly how they're planting this.
Everyone in there died because of the 4 of you.
Wow. Oh my God, are you serious?
What the fuck?
I thought they were gonna spin it another way, and from her perspective, when we were seeing things from her perspective or from OSHA's perspective, that we were gonna somehow see that this was the case. She was right, or what Soul saw was actually something different. He was wrong, and it wasn't really May's fault. But when you look back at what happened, it still was.
You can't go. We're stuck here now. It's not up to you. You can't stop me. Yes, I can. How? I'll kill you. May, let me out. I won't let it happen. May, please! Help me!
So, if OSHA is recounting this, are we to believe that this didn't happen? Right. She didn't say the words, I'll kill you, then why did OSHA remember that? In episode 7, they're showing us things from Soul's perspective, but yet we're seeing the reactions of the girls and the reaction of OSHA, and we're to believe that this is actually what happened. The execution of this way of writing this revelation is so sloppily put together. Other movies and shows have done this when they're showing a parallel to someone's memory versus what really happened. And they somehow manage to walk away with things looking more confusing and only making the witches look worse and the Jedi looking incompetent. The only difference is the witches are trying to make it look like the Jedi are all evil and everything is 100% their fault. And the show is doing the same.
4 of you.
It was right for us to intervene. My biggest regret is that I wasn't able to save you both. You and Osha are not twins. You're not even sisters. You're...
She really wanted to kill him. She could have done it then. I mean, I know she probably doesn't have her weapons, but she has the Force. Why didn't you use it? You could have thrown him. Oh my God. I guess she doesn't want to kill him. Let's just say she's sympathetic now and she doesn't want to kill him. I'm so freaking tired. I don't know if I can do this all in one go. Like, my head is swelling up right now. It feels like it's super swollen from trying to fit all these pieces together. It's like causing inflammation inside of my mind. Would have been useful if he could do the read mind thing to sense her intentions, but that's turned off where this is concerned. Stupid otter thing. I don't know why throughout the entire series it keeps showing up. She escapes in a freaking pod and he goes after her. And Pip, who's now on her side, is like, yeah, we doing this. So the ship doesn't have hyperdrive, so they show her escaping through the asteroid belt, which is a very strange looking thing, but very beautiful. She's like, he can't follow us in here, and he ends up following her in there. And I shit you not, this is where this starts to fall apart. I know you're probably thinking, well, it starts to fall apart way before this. And you're right, it does. Honestly, trying to keep up with the chaotic roller coaster of character development in the show is like a mental endurance test. Between the plot supposed twists that make no sense, and a dude flipping his character after he's been caught cheating, it's insane. You really want to challenge your sanity? Pair this show with watching another Disney work called Willow. Oh, that's by Lucasfilm as well, apparently. I did a full review of the show, and oh my God. I couldn't even find it funny, I just found it so freaking annoying. It was so bad, it made me temporarily change personalities to a freaking evil villain. Try to make it out with your brain intact, and trust me, you'll deserve a freaking medal because that is an impossible challenge right there. So he's cutting through the asteroid belt, and this otter thing has been following him around, and he knows that May is the bad one, right? This is where... This is what I'm talking about with the insanity of the structure of the show and its characters. Oh my fucking God, I'm sorry. Sorry, I don't know why I'm getting so mad. It's just, we already started this, had to see it through. I'm getting antsy right now. I feel like I want to run.
Come on! Let's run like we're fucking lions and tigers and bears!
So sorry. So he almost catches her and, hold on, wait. My head just went blank for a second. I'm sorry. I am so fucking sorry. Oh my god. I can't stand foolishness. I swear to God. Like, I know they're probably doing this on purpose. Because people have told me, after watching those stupid asylum movies, that people do things like this on purpose. So, maybe Leslie Headland is taking the poo with all of us and she's trolling us really hard. But Lord have mercy, have you ever seen things so stupid it makes you want to slap someone's tits off their face? It's so dumb that it elicits rage within you. I feel like I'm watching Willow all over again. I feel like the same people who wrote that show or did that or put that together, they gave birth and this is another freaking spawn of Satan that has come forth. And at this point, I don't know which one's worse. I think maybe Willow's worse. Yeah, Willow's still worse. Ugh, I have PTSD every time I think about that.
You're gonna lose interest and then you're gonna move on to the next. It's like the one way you're totally consistent.
No.
Our mysterious stranger bested the night and removed his helmet. And can you guess who that was? It's Princess Taramis. Secretly entered the tournament to fight for herself. To choose her own future.
And then the owl swooped down and ripped the little girl's face off and ate her eyeballs.
Yeah, that's the same grasshopper urine that we're ingesting here. Why? ¿Por qué? What was the reason? What the fuck was the reason for that? The dude is supposed to be the good guys. The dude is intelligent to know what's going. Oh my god. Oh my god. Dude. Stupid fucking teddy thing. I hate that thing so freaking much. It makes no sense. What was the Jedi even doing? Is he trying to pull her back in? We've already seen that the otter knows that that's not Osha, that's May, who killed a whole bunch of people. And he's like, I did it, Master. I made your ship go, you know, whatever. Even though I know May's the bad guy, you're trying to get her back because I'm intelligent enough to know that. This thing should get something rammed up its ass for its insolence. And see, it doesn't matter because it ends up making this woman crash anyway. And she's like, I'm not scared. Look at what's happening. Look at my eyeballs. I just look like I'm waking up from bed and I'm trying to reconnect my reality to being awake. She's such a bad actress. Jesus Christ. And then she slams down to earth and she's like, oh, look at her. She doesn't look as though she's scared at all. Look at her dumb face. Like, ooh, duck lips. Like, what the fuck? What is this? Okay, this is the last episode, so it is what it is. You guys are freaking sadists, I swear to God. You're doing us a service, they say. I like how we could all come back at this though and laugh, but right now I don't feel like laughing because I'm so tired. Usually I would find all of this funny, but now I'm really so freaking tired that I want to set fire to all the characters in the universe. Not so they die, just so they disappear, you know? Like, poof, like what Thanos did, and then they're in the soul world somewhere where bad writing like this probably would be well suited because it's, I don't even know. Okay, so anyway, she looks like she's not even scared and she ends up crashing and somehow, guess what? Yep, she's okay without a scratch because of course that's I don't care who you are, but that kind of crash, anybody coming down from that angle and hitting the ground with that momentum and force, they would have their vertebra crushed. They would at least, at the very least, be knocked out or have some scratch or something. But nope, nothing. Crashing means nothing in this universe. I don't know if the other Star Wars movies are like that, but that's definitely a problem. And she looks like she's not even terrified. Have you seen people when they're crashing? They don't look like this. If she could show some emotion, that would be great. For someone who's taught to embrace all of her negative emotions, you would think that the character, the person playing the character, could exhibit fear.
Now I want...
Master Benestra, Senator Raincourt's here to see you.
Oh, look, it's old Triangle Mouth. Why do they always portray this guy like he's the weakest link of all the Jedi, and they make him look so ridiculous? I get that Hollywood usually casts people with a certain look to play the role that they look like, but the Jedi already look incompetent enough, but they make this guy, who has been shown to have some kind of talent, appear to be the freaking village idiot.
Master Benestra, Senator Raincourt's here to see you.
Where is he?
He's in there.
You let him in the control room?
You see what I mean? What was he supposed to do? If this guy has a higher standing than most of the Jedi, what the frick was this guy supposed to do? The way that she treats him like a carrot on the counter that someone forgot to put away in the fridge, and then they just let it sit there for some stupid reason.
Senator.
Apologies for my intrusion.
Not at all.
I was surprised when they said you were traveling through hyperspace. How was your stomach?
It's my head, actually. And I'm fine.
So because your head gets sick and not your stomach, that still means that you're not sick? The definition of sick: ill, unwell, poorly ailing, indisposed, affected by physical or mental illness, feeling nauseous or wanting to vomit. So that does mean when someone says they feel sick, they might feel sick to their stomach, or they may have a physical ailment. If someone constantly has migraines and headaches, yes, they would fall into the category of being sick. If your head is swimming around and you feel nauseous, that too is a way to feel sick. If you're mentally ill, like most of the characters in the show seem to be, that falls under the category of sick as well.
This must be urgent to wait for me here.
I've heard some disturbing things.
What have you heard?
That you're running a murder investigation without reporting it to the Senate.
I'm keeping this internal for the moment. I have the authority to take independent action if there's no larger threat.
How can you know there is no larger threat?
All the victims were Jedi.
There are multiple victims?
So exactly what is she saying here? Are they a larger threat or not? She claims she's very close to apprehending the subject, and the senator asks her if she thinks it's a Jedi. She ignores him and says, "We're very close anyway. Thank you, go away." And then he's like, "Bro, you have a problem with me, bro?" And this is where things just get really weird. I mean, they were already weird, so what am I talking about? But it seems as though there's still a narrative being pushed that the Jedi are somehow evil.
I think the Jedi are a massive system of unchecked power, posing as a religion. A delusional cult that claims to control the uncontrollable.
We don't control the Force.
Not the Force. Your emotions. You project an image of goodness and restraint. But it's only a matter of time before one of you snaps.
Like the Vulcan? Look, I'm not against people having different perspectives, and I actually appreciate that about Star Trek. In fact, my husband introduced me to Star Trek, and one of the things that I love about it is the ethical conundrums. Despite how dated it is, the show handles ethical dilemmas really well, and it presents everybody's perspective really clearly. And the Orville did something similar, with characters who might disagree on stuff, but then they ultimately find a middle ground. And this actually prompts people who are watching to really think and open up their minds without just coming away with judgment. You can understand why the Andorians act the way they do, and why the Vulcans behave as they do, and why the two kind of don't like each other. My husband has me watching Star Trek Enterprise right now. The one that we watched before was the one with Next Generation? The one with Picard and Data. Well, and Q. But he only showed me the ARC episodes. So, for example, in the Star Trek Enterprise, the show often portrays both sides of having a legitimate concern and reasons for maintaining their beliefs and cultures, which understandably only leads to mutual understanding or agreeing to disagree. Sometimes the captain of the crew will disagree with something and the rest of the crew will talk to him and help him see a different perspective. Like the doctor guy, I absolutely love him. We see things from a neutral standpoint of him learning about everybody's culture without judgment and helping to bridge the gap between people. I'm actually surprised to say that these old shows, they actually don't even feel that dated, except for the VFX, which are oftentimes very hard to watch. But the substance of the stories is so good that I'm genuinely enjoying them. If it weren't for my husband, I wouldn't have watched Star Trek because I thought it was silly when I saw my dad watching it. However, the writing in these old shows are so far superior to what we're seeing in things like The Acolyte. I will show you a quick example of a clip that my husband showed me. I didn't watch this specific episode, but I watched the clip, and I can tell you from experience, this is how the show is and how it tackles issues like this.
I've been reviewing the history of armed rebellion, and it appears that terrorism is an effective way to promote political change.
Yes, it can be, but I have never subscribed to the theory that political power flows from the barrel of a gun.
Yet there are numerous examples when it was successful. The independence of the Mexican state from Spain, the Irish unification of 2024, and the Kenzie Rebellion.
Yes, I'm aware of them.
Then would it be accurate to say that terrorism is acceptable when all options for peaceful settlement have been foreclosed?
These are questions that mankind has been struggling with throughout history. Your confusion is only human.
And you can read this guy's hilarious description here for people who want to leave a comment and they don't know what's going on. I also was told before being shared this clip that it was banned. But did you see how that was handled? Data was just wondering the cause and effect of something, yet Picard didn't necessarily agree with it, but he also didn't lie. And he said, yes, I have noticed that that was the case. Doesn't mean it's right, but yeah, I don't have the answer, and mankind doesn't yet have the answer to these questions. Back when I'm sure in our grandparents and great-grandparents' times, scientists were okay with saying they don't know. So that kind of complexity, I don't know if that's what Leslie Headland and her team, or maybe just half a writer, are attempting to do with the show. But if that's what they're attempting to do, then they are failing. It's easy to see the Jedi as corrupt when all they do is appear incompetent. But then again, none of the actions of the characters make any sense whatsoever. You can't actually root for anyone because everyone seems perpetually dumb.
You project an image of goodness and restraint. But it's only a matter of time before one of you snaps. And when, not if that happens, who will be strong enough to stop him?
That's certainly an opinion, and not one shared by the rest of the Senate.
The majority of my colleagues can't imagine a galaxy without the Jedi.
She didn't answer the question. And I'm still confused. Are multiple Jedi not strong enough to stop one person? Are they then saying that someone who is super powerful is someone who doesn't have control of their emotions or doesn't attempt to restrain them?
And I can understand why. When you're looking up to heroes, you don't have to face what's right in front of you.
Is that all, Senator?
I have reported your lack of transparency to Chancellor Drellick. He may invite you to a Senate tribunal for an update. I hope for your sake you have this suspect in custody by then. Good luck. Now, what is it you say? May the Force be with you.
I'm gonna take you to the bank, Senator Trent. To the blood bank.
So Elf Ear is over here after patronizing the green ball-head woman, leaves, and I start smelling very powerful curry when they once again show these freaking fungus on the screen. Ew, stop. They're so disgusting. And now the baby's on top of the Madre. Look at them. What are they doing? Fucking A, man. I hate those things so much. They look like drumsticks that mutated from The Last of Us. Disgusting! So anyway, ugh, sorry. Fuck. I never want to see those things again. Anyway, I'm so sorry. This is so unprofessional. So Ushur. What the frick is her name? Osha. Jesus. Yeah. She's all like, I'm a self. And he's all like, that ass, though. That ass. But they're on their way to go and meet May. And she says, well, you made a deal with my sister and you expected her to uphold it. So, that's fair. And so is this. What is he wearing? He's wearing a whole tablecloth and a shower curtain. What in the freaking bizarre fashion week is going on here? But they're just acting. She's just acting like this guy didn't just wipe out a whole bunch of Jedi. And he's all of a sudden like a good guy now, and he's not. He just has beef with May. But this whole thing just feels weird. Like they forgot the last episodes that they did.
Did I give you the impression that I was a fair person?
Yes, you did. You made a deal with my sister, and you expected her to uphold it. That's fair. And so is this.
Osha, you should be trained. Would you ever consider?
No.
Last chance.
Told you. I'm not my sister.
You're definitely not. May made that deal without even thinking about it.
And I suppose this is gonna make them more romantic. Look at her face, like, yeah, I'm like better than my Wait, what do you mean by that? Like, is that a good thing? Do you want me, daddy? So after she starts dreaming about him as he's walking away, and they fly off in, yes, is that one ship I see? What in the, that is one ship. They are walking to one ship anyway. Tell me why there's a freaking Voldemort character now, like just in the shadows, all like, oh my God, like horror movie, am I right? If this is a character from Star Wars, I have no idea what that's supposed to be, nor do I care. So he can use his force to find her location. When he's in the presence of stuff, he can sense people's intentions without even really trying that hard. But yet he doesn't do it when it would behoove him to do so. And then they cut away to the stupid otter. I don't know why they keep showing him. He's so annoying. And at this point, it's very clear that they're doing this for marketing reasons. I don't see anybody buying this toy. He's not that cute. And he's a freaking traitor. And Triangle Mouth is annoying too. But we hear Vanestra on the phone with someone saying that trying to reach a message to someone is highly unorthodox. We're thinking that she means Soul, but we don't know. So it could be someone else. So Triangle Mouth is like, we found Soul. She tells him to gather as many knights as he can. He asks her if she's anticipating a confrontation. And she says a resolution. Okay, so that's a roundabout way of saying that's what's happening. And why would you even ask her that if it's very clear that's what is to be expected when you gather a bunch of knights, even though I don't know what that's gonna do, because if you really believe that this guy is responsible for killing a whole bunch of Jedi and he's that strong, why would you bring more of them for him to slaughter? Unless knights means something else in this regard. I thought Jedi were basically Knights of the Republic. I could be wrong. Like I said, I don't know jack about Star Wars, but from the way that they're speaking, that's what I assume. As I said, I could be wrong.
All the way back home.
There's no spaceport, but there's landing site near our fortress. They're already there.
It's pretty wild to me how this woman who watched this guy take out all her friends and or mentors or just people that she looked up to is now just totally in love with him and they're partners in crime. She was on this moral high horse for the first part of the show, or at least for the first third portion of the show, and now they're like freaking Bonnie and Clyde over here after she saw him take his shirt off, and he switched gears too, being all sweet on her, and it basically feels like this elaborate way of saying that he wanted a girlfriend, not a pupil.
A special relationship, isn't it? Master and pupil.
It's super obvious that was the direction they were headed with this, and honestly, it feels like some over-the-top fan fiction. Anyway, Sol recognizes that they're there, and time's a-wasting. And he keeps hearing echoes of the past, of the kids screaming, and him remembering having killed the woman in an attempt to save one of the kids. The two of these guys are now working together because they've kind of like screwed each other in their minds. The funny thing is she hasn't even gotten anything from him physically yet. He just looked at her funny, and she was like, oh my god, sacrifice my family and everyone I know, and people who raised me and helped teach me morals? Hell yes, man, for some buck. But then it turns out this was all in her head, at least this part with him being with her. Either that or he left.
Unless you want to climb.
Are you sure?
So Sol goes back to the part where he could have saved both of them, but just didn't because the writing said that he couldn't. And he walks away. And even though he's tracking this girl, he couldn't sense that she was right in front of him the entire time, bro. What in the world is this writing? Or maybe it's just me and I don't fully understand the extent of his powers, because not only is he inconsistent with using them, but the potency of it's also inconsistent. He's still looking for her. And May remembers the room that she set on fire that was made completely of stone.
Thank you for leading me to her. We make a great team.
Because we gotta have a Star Wars fight with lightsabers. And he didn't lead you to anything. He hasn't even found her. So these guys are fighting it out, the poison guy in this short confined space. And then we see how tough the lightsabers are, but somehow a human being can survive that. If anybody loves watching the lightsaber fights, I'm sure you'll enjoy this. The only reason why it's annoying to me is the skill of the fight depends on how the writer of that scene is feeling at any one time. And it changes course from second to second. So anyway, Sol jumps out and he is too able to use the Force to glide down like that old movie Crouching Tiger, Hidden Fish, or whatever the frick it's called. Wait, what's it called again? Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon, sorry. And all I'm thinking is, oh, he can use the Force. He could have done this all along. What the hell was going on here? And he says, I will destroy you if I must. Oh, will you now? Oh my god, this gets better and better. So then Dark Sith guy is like, you can destroy me, but not if she gets you first. So the fight goes on and Sol is down. Sorry, that was... Okay, first of all, I...
Are you okay?
I cannot deny that this guy is
Bill Nye the Science Guy
is totally calling on his anime aura. We cannot deny that. So I will give that. That looked really freaking cool. The way he turned around, he was like, okay, boy, let's go. And then you see him all pumped up and swole, and he's like, God damn, like, look, that looks like a cover of an anime thing, like Chainsaw Man or so. What in the world? What in the shy basket? Did he just first lightsaber just squirt out another baby lightsaber from itself? What in the world? Oh my God. Okay. So aside from him looking cool, because he has muscles and he looks badass in that stupid ass helmet, this is so stupid. So now we're breaking off baby lightsabers off the main lightsabers. You know, I can't help but think that this is another trick, you know, that they pulled out their ass that could have been useful everywhere else. This guy also just stared at him, coming up to kicking him, and he had time to swing his lightsaber and somehow was like, no, I'm not gonna. Or he sees Soul coming up to him and is like, I'm not gonna use the Force either. I can't fight you. I can't do anything against you, but like a harem of Jedi, I am completely overpowered when it comes to them. Like, you can't make this shit up. Like, the coherence of the story and some of the dialogue in the show feels like one of those old cringy clips from those old movies or commercials or what have you.
Hey, Scotty. Jesus, man.
So anyway, like, I also don't get the efficiency of having Big Dick and Little Dick fighting. Like, obviously Little Dick ain't doing crap. It looks so stupid. It's like, look at this tiny little lightsaber here that you can't really, you know, I can't really use. The only thing it's good for, is it growing? I feel like the little lightsaber, depending on how the camera is angled, is becoming more erect. Does it grow over time? What is happening right now? I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. What is actually happening right now? Soul's face. Yo, this guy, okay, the Sith guy bodied Soul before Soul was supposedly winning, which we know the Sith guy let him win. And I could show you, because I know the writers have short-term memory, but the audience doesn't, but let's just pretend they do. Did we forget how in episode 5, this guy was bodying Soul? I mean, Soul was acting defensively, but this guy was throwing him around like a rag doll. And the only reason Soul walked away with his life is because the writers decided that they were gonna give him plot armor by making the Sith guy, who clearly wanted to kill him, all of a sudden decide to just leave in the middle of the battle where he had Soul dead to rights. Several times, mind you. So he could go follow someone else and not finish them off either. I swear to God, it's like they have different people from all across the globe writing each of the episodes without ever having watched the previous ones. Also, lots of times he could have used the baby lightsaber here and didn't pull that out until it was just convenient because, you know, he wanted to show off that he got a frickin' DLC add-on or something. I don't even know. So his little dick lightsaber is like, oh no. And then he uses the Force, or tries to, and Soul's like, erection. And so what in... Okay, he gets back the baby lightsaber. And see, this is something that is very efficient. Throwing the lightsabers at Soul and then using the Force to boomerang them back like you've done before. I would actually, and then look at this. Look how none of this makes any sense. These creatures are so strange. So I've always made fun of this show for not using the Force when necessary. I've also titled one of my stupid thumbnails, "The Force is Fleeting," because it seems as though people forget that they can use the Force when necessary, you know, when most necessary. And so here, this guy is coming down on him and all of a sudden, oh my God, wow, look at how he was able to use the Force. You're a Jedi Master, and you're acting as though you just now discovered your freaking powers, my guy? Where was this energy all this time when you were losing the battle? And, you know, your friends were in danger. Where was all of the other Jedis for? Oh, I can't even. These freaking people, man. They write that the Jedi are evil, but then they can't even be honest enough to make them fight to their full power and competency. Instead, they have to make them little noodles like earthworms that are devoid of thinking. They're just Jedi in name only, and that's it. I don't know about you, but this guy looks like... The way he's swinging into the fight looks like he's being hysterical. Like, he doesn't know what he's doing. Doesn't feel like it. Look at him. He's like, oh no, I'm losing. Oh. Like, dude, this guy killed a whole group of Jedi, bro. He killed a pudding of them with ease. And this is the same guy that's fighting this one guy that he bested instantly. Almost instantly. Are we kidding right now? Man, puss really does make men go soft. Then the sisters discover each other again. Osha confronts her sister, acting very much like May, and May is all of a sudden the good one. And we're supposed to forget her and that she killed the Jedi and put people in danger.
Everything that happened here. Oh, because you didn't want me to become a Jedi. I didn't do this. Soul lied to you. He blamed me. Soul never blamed you. He tried to teach me to accept that someone that I love could be capable of this level of destruction.
That's kind of like blaming her. And on May's part, you did do this. She's straight up freaking lying. Man, Osha needs to grow some balls. She needs to come up on and be like,
do the hokey pokey and turn your big ass around and get the fuck back to your fucking seat. The fuck is wrong with your ashy ass?
So Osha said she failed and that's why she didn't become a Jedi.
I could never learn to calm my negative emotions, my hatred of you, my grief over our mother. So I never became Jedi. And I guess in the end you got what you wanted.
Oh no! I feel so bad for you right now. Even though like, I only switched that seconds after I found out you were alive because I felt bad, but not really. Meanwhile, she still skirts every bit of opportunity to take accountability for what she did. And because her eyes are open a tad bit wider than they usually are, that's supposed to make us feel some type of way, evoke some sense of sympathy for her after she killed people in cold blood. Okay, maybe she thought they killed her mom and whatnot. You had a part to play in all of that. And these people were defending themselves when you were trying to take over their freaking minds. They weren't even trying to kill you. The dude was saving you from your own mother, but maybe she remembers it wrong. Still didn't take away the fact that she set fire to her home. But then again, can we blame her when the rest of us know that stone doesn't catch fire like that? She probably was like, what in the writing is this? That physics don't work this way. So she's probably just as shocked as we are, but still own up to it. She probably wants to say, no, Osha, the writing is what made the rock castle catch on fire when there was no fabric for it to freaking burn.
Soul killed our mother. I saw it with my own eyes. He's lied to you every day since you left our home. How could he teach you to control your negative emotions? He's the reason you have them.
You started that. Before Soul even came into the equation, you're the one who was like, you shouldn't be a Jedi. She's had those negative emotions since she was a kid. The Jedi coming into her life just amplified them, and so did freaking May, who's sitting here acting as though she's a saint.
You didn't fail. He did.
So then Pip turns on her because he's evil now, and we notice that the two are fighting exactly alike because they're the same person. While these guys are fighting outside, Vanessa and her people are here, and Soul's like, ooh, they gonna get you now. And Sith Daddy replies, saying, ooh, they're not here for me. Sith Giga Chad's lightsaber is cut, and he seems very angry about this. How could you do something like this? So he takes off his helmet. For what reason, I don't know. And that's when May stops him because I guess peripheral vision doesn't exist in this world with Jedi. And this is where we see the future coming, but I already knew what was going to happen because we think May's the one who's going to kill Soul. Of course she isn't. She had lots of time to do that, and she chose not to with every opportunity because now she's all of a sudden good.
Feel your anger. This is the source of your pain. Strike him down, and your journey will be complete.
No. I want him to confess what he did. I want him to face the High Council, the Senate, the Republic. I want him to pay for his crimes.
And so he's the one that actually physically killed your mom, if you want to go there. But you let him live and you killed all the others. Just so we're on the same page, that's what happened, right? All of a sudden now she doesn't want to kill him. She wants him to go to jail, but you take the life of the other Jedi who didn't even kill your mom, who had nothing to do with that. Interesting.
I want him to pay for his crimes.
I did the right thing. I wanted to protect you both.
From what?
You're not twins. You and Osha are the same person. I don't know how your mother did it, but it has something to do with the virgins on this planet.
And this did not answer her question. She said, protect us from what? And he couldn't answer. So because they exist, even if the mother created them, what was she doing? You can't even say, oh, the mother was mistreating. Was she? She's teaching them much in the same way a Jedi was, except she's doing it maybe a little bit differently and teaching them that Jedi are bad or something when they're doing kind of the same thing. But anyway, why didn't he just answer that? Why is everybody not using their lips to communicate? And if he did the right thing and he's convinced of that, then why did he lie? I'm guessing he'll answer.
How she did what?
She created life. Your lives. I believe she used the Force to create you and Osha. Do you have any idea what kind of power that is?
Clearly she doesn't. So maybe explain it to her, because as someone from the outside looking in, I still don't see what the problem is. I really don't see what the problem. If they have that ability to create babies out of nothing because they're not sleeping with dudes to do it, okay. She still created a life that the other woman carried in her belly. She didn't just snap them into thin air. They still had to be carried to term and then born as babies and then grow up. So whether it's with a spermatozoa, I don't really see what the problem is. Okay, she used the Force. And unless you have a person who's really bad making an army of babies all of a sudden, and instead of going in and scoozing in each of the females, he can just be like, all right, let's do this. Snap the fingers, oh, you're pregnant now. Good job. I'm gonna walk away and eat some steak or something. Other than that, in this universe, I have no idea why what he's saying is evil. And he is asking her as though she's supposed to know, and it's very clear that she doesn't. So stop doing that and just tell her.
In the history of the galaxy, very few have been that powerful.
And you killed her. You killed our mother.
Yes. I did.
It's like, that's all she wanted. You admitted it. That's all I wanted. I'm okay now. Of course, Osha was listening and she's like, is that true?
It's not true. Tell me it's not true. It's true.
You see, he admits it. Murderer.
But unlike The Lion King, there's no redemption here. Even though Soul says he was protecting Osha.
I was protecting you. It was the right thing to do.
If it was the right thing to do, why didn't you tell the Jedi?
Without me, there was no proof you were created in this way.
Why didn't you tell me?
They would have sent you away. You were too old to train. They never would have let you become a Jedi. I did what I thought was best for you. Of course. I wanted to tell you so many times, but I couldn't.
Stop talking.
None of this makes any sense. As I said, the show makes the Jedi look like incompetent idiots, and this writing is deplorable, and the dialogue is dumb. And it's like this person is going over, above, and beyond to make all the other characters hate him or mistrust him. Keep in mind, this is the season finale, so we're supposed to get some climactic ending, and so far everything is feeling very anticlimactic. And I'm going to point out why this is so stupid in a minute, because she's getting upset at him, understandably, for lying to her. May did the same thing. Yeah, they're the same person, but she had this hatred towards May for the longest while. And she completely excused everything that May did, the fire that she caused that was responsible for her entire family dying. Not just her mom. And this man was a father to her. And yes, he killed her mom, but for most of your life, this man has been the one that you've grown up with. Or maybe a huge portion of her life, maybe half her life. I'm assuming she's like in her mid-20s, early 30s in this, and the kids look like they were about 9 or 10. So if that's the case, and I'm right, I probably am not, but that would mean that majority of her life she spent with this guy who she looked up to as a father. So again, the Jedi are seen as the evil ones.
Don't act so surprised.
Stop talking.
I kept this from you, so you could have the life you'd always dreamed of. I did everything because I love.
Stop talking.
Oh my god, she's so cool. If she had the ability to do that without raising her hands, why didn't she need to raise her hands afterwards? She was doing it so everyone would be like, oh my god, what's happening? When we all knew it was her. And then she raises her hand, but she's already doing it. So why does she need to raise her hand? She clearly doesn't need to. I think that humans would have put it together that she was the one doing this. So he tells her it's okay. Go ahead, do it. I deserve it. She's gonna do it anyway. She doesn't need your permission. And she just embraced all of her feelings and then just instantly became evil. You see what Dick does to people? You see? This is why repression is such a bad thing. Maybe if she had gotten stuffed early on, instead of being salty about everything, she wouldn't have been completely unraveled and thirsty beyond recognition to get clapped by someone who was a freaking mass murderer because he just looked at her with desire. if he's choking, how is he even able to get that out? He could get out the last bit of the I love you he was gonna say, since she's clearly not choking him as hard as she was before. So at that moment when you feel you're dying, I would say I love you, since you clearly can talk a little bit, but oh well. Dude looks like he's having the climax of his life.
Would you stop?
And I'm just wondering, where was all this energy for May? She saw her after she already felt all this anger. And May has not owned up to anything that she did. And she did deny that she did those things either, sort of. But yet there's none of that energy for May, who killed everybody, who was the reason for all of that happening in the first place. Yeah, the dude lied to you, but he's still your family. May lied to you and she did those things and she's still your family, but you didn't kill her, but you kill him. How eerily selective of you. Man, she really is evil, but did we ever have a doubt? If they try to fix this as, oh my god, she's not evil, she's just misunderstood, I'm gonna freaking laugh. Now she has a throbbing red lightsaber. It fixed itself and became very inflamed, which is, I guess, indicative of her now being a dark Sith Lord or the dark side, whatever. She's evil now. The reflexes of this guy, though, I think he knew exactly what was about to happen when he touched her. So he was like, oh, it's okay. He knew exactly what was coming because he's probably been there, and she almost cut his face off. I wonder what would have happened had she been successful. It would have all been for nothing, and you didn't even get a taste of the peen yet. All of this for no reason. Well then, Vanessa and her people come out, and still, this Lucasfilms probably had fallen really far, because if they put out Willow and they put out this, I can see why this is probably the direction the studio has been heading if these are the types of shows they're putting out. I really believe, I could be wrong, but I have a strong suspicion that they're making these shows bad on purpose. They're not even putting any effort in because they're just tax write-off or something, who knows.
You're alive.
Ethel, you're right. What a relief.
Of course I'm all right. And I tried to get Soul killed because I'm a bad guy now and I like Sith people. Look, he's an otter with freaking lips. Gross. So the sisters are in love with each other now, and they leave Soul's dead body on the ground just like he left his friend's body on the ground. And it really is unfortunate that this happened to him. But why would you go and say you killed her mother for her reason? Like, it just, dialogue, man. What in the craziness? They're just ham-fisting it and throttling the idea that the Jedi are so unhinged that they really made this man say that he basically killed her mom because he loves her. He couldn't tell the kid that her mom was using the dark force to kind of erase her sister or to kill everybody else, but whatever. So May shows Osha where she went when she fell. Still don't know how she's able to survive that fall in the first place, but she did because of plot. And I was right. The supposed knights that she's bringing with her, this green Granny Gamora, are other Jedi. This one looks like she's just here as a temp. This guy looks like he's too old and high to know what's going on. Yeah, I don't know what the hell. Okay, maybe they're her relatives or something. Who knows? All of them are freaking useless. If this is what we're working with, then all the Jedi are stupid. But she's like the only one who is super experienced and any good at what she does. Why would anyone take them seriously? Which is probably what the show was pushing for. So wait, she has this ability to perceive what has happened in the past. Is it in the presence of the dead body? Regardless of what the case is, whether the dead body's there or not, there are so many times when she could have gone and seen what happened as a result. She can perceive things that happened in the past, but yet she had a hard time wondering whether or not Osha was innocent. I know they're gonna go with the angle that, oh, they're the same person, but clearly if you do the math based on each of their locations, she would have solved this very quickly. Instead of also saying that nobody could have survived the crash, Miss Granny Gamora over here could have gone there and instantly known whether or not Osha was alive.
Then now. We should not have brought him here. Get the transmitter.
You too. Search the premises. The rest of you set up a 5-click perimeter.
She could have also seen what had happened between all of the Jedi and these witch sisters. And this dude is waiting and watching. Can she not perceive that he's there? Oh, she can, when convenient. And let me remind you that Soul had the same power, but only when convenient, and everything worked against him. And why do they have this idiot working for them again? He's a freaking traitor. Then again, they don't know that. So May shows Osha where she went, and it was to the tree. And then Osha's like, I'm sorry I didn't believe you. Oh my God.
I'm sorry I started that fire.
That's it? Okay, she finally admits it, and she finally says she's sorry after this girl killed Soul, her adopted father. And yet, Osha has none of that energy for her sister. Interesting. She still set a fire that killed everyone because she didn't want Osha to leave, whether she meant to or not. But Soul did this as an accident to save them, to free her, and she kills him.
You are with me. I am with you.
If I can find you, so can the Jedi.
Why is it when he's wearing the mask, he has to move in slow motion, except, you know, when the plot determines that he shouldn't? Is it to make him look more angsty and alluring and dangerous? Look at me, I'm in a mask, I'm gonna move slow, so I look like a badass. Can he also not talk at his regular pace either when he's wearing the mask? They already know who he is, so why is he disguising his voice if that's what he's doing? So they have a plan, and Osha says she'll explain what Soul did. And he says after everything, you still put your faith in the Jedi. Yep, the Jedi are bad people. And May says, when they find out how powerful you are, you will meet the same fate as our mother. Man, you're right. We haven't seen each other in almost a decade, I'm guessing. And you killed people, and this other guy that I'm sucking off, he killed people. Some of my friends who did nothing wrong. I believe you guys.
The bombs bursting
What do we do? What do you want, Osha?
Now you're asking her this, bitch? Are you for real? Are you really for real? Now that she's killed Soul, now you're asking her what she... I understand that Osha just went to the dark side. Maybe because she just had some dark dick. And that was it. But it's funny how none of that was applicable when she saw this guy mow down all of her friends and her foster father was in danger. Like, she saw this happen and she had none of this energy for him. Let's just say that May gets a pass because May is related to her. This dude, she wants to gargle his gonados, and there is no hostility whatsoever towards this guy. Had he been a middle-aged, pot-bellied dude who's graying and bald, giving her the same tea, she would have been like, ew, I'm gonna dive myself into that water and drown or die trying to get to that ship. Or just completely let the ocean take me. Because no. But because he's attractive and like badass, because he killed her friends with just the right amount of sauce in front of her and tried to kill her too. Did we forget this? Were we watching the same show?
Let my sister go and I will train with you. Are you sure?
Just shut up. Oh my God. What do you mean am I sure? Do you want to die?
I mean, like, just take both of you, one from the back, you know what I'm saying?
But I will use me to find you.
This thing is born and bred to be a freaking snitch. I don't think it even matters what side he's on. Look at his dumbass meth head looking face. Fuck you.
I grieve in stereo.
I can attempt to wipe her memory, remove any trace of you or me. Permanently.
Oh my God. So just like he said, the Jedi have that power. He has his power as well. If we recall, he mentioned a soul in the poison shop.
If you cooperate, we will consider letting you go with a warning.
Okay, thank you, sir. Please don't do the memory wipe thing or whatever it is you guys do.
So are they trying to insinuate that Jedi have the ability to do this? Since mutant Jedi who are on the dark side have this ability. And if Soul has the ability to go inside people's heads, then he has this ability as well, which means he could have taken away her pain. But maybe he didn't want to do that. He wanted to teach her how to... He said that he would make it so that she never had to feel this way again. So if you had that ability to do that, why wouldn't you? Anyway, it's no different than lying to her. I mean, it's a little bit different, yes. And providing you have a way to bring back those memories, it just seemed as though there was unnecessary suffering that happened as a result. And if he really cared about her having the dream, then he could have done that to keep her from suffering and to allow her to become a Jedi.
Do it. Quickly. I can't lose you again. You're not. You're going to do what you were meant to do. And I won't stop you this time.
I'm sorry. If they're the same person and they fight exactly the same way and they have the same consciousness and all of that, then why were they so different when they were little? I'm still reeling over the whole memory wipe thing. The dude could have just gotten all of that rage from Osha so she didn't have to suffer. Is it necessary for them to have the rage to tame it? If that's the case, that wouldn't make sense because I was told that Jedi want to get kids who are force sensitive when they're very young, that don't have any trauma, and because I guess their minds are pliable enough. That's what I heard. So even if Osha was too old, they could have just mind wiped her? No tears for Soul whatsoever. What in this? Is this the character that people are supposed to like? Why? She's already unlikable to begin with, but then she's useless, and then all of a sudden she's super strong, she's self-righteous, and she turns on her sister because her sister's out there killing Jedi. Most of the Jedi, by the way, did nothing wrong. The witches were all using Kalnaka's mind, and the Jedi believe that they were saving the children, whatever. The dude is about to mind wipe her sister, and they're all agreeing to this, and this same dude who is doing this, using the Force to mind wipe her, killed all those people just because he doesn't like Jedi, and some of them were her friends that did nothing wrong, and she's okay with all of this. I know I'm repeating myself. I'm just in shock. So the Jedi catch up to May, and they're like, you killed people. And she's like, I did? What did I do? And they all have that stupid look on their face. Every single one of them looks so dumb. Like they do not carry the confidence or the presence of what I would imagine Jedi to be. And I know nothing about Star Wars. Why would I respect these people? I mean, maybe that's what the show's going for. So of course she's in chains now, or locks. And see, Granny Gamora over here recognized that she is memory wiped. Because she doesn't remember. She doesn't even remember she had a sister. She knew she was supposed to tell someone about what happened to the coven. And so the green ball lady says,
your last memory is from when you were 8 years old.
See, I was about right. 8, 9, around that time. So yeah, Osha's had more time with this dude anyway. And see, even though Venestra is not the nicest person, she still takes the time to acknowledge her dead friend and apologize for his death. Oh, but none of that matters because then when you see what happens afterwards, this whole thing is so stupid and it's so disgusting and none of it makes any sense. This man, yes, he did a horrible thing, but he was doing it with justification, I guess. Even though it was horrible, he had guilt for it. They should have gone to the Jedi from the beginning, but the Jedi is so corrupt that we see Venestra doing this stunt and lying on the man's reputation. Apparently it's revealed, even though we all already knew this, that she was a teacher of the Sith guy, or the guy who turned Sith.
16 years ago, 4 Jedi were stationed on the planet Brendok. There, they discovered a force cult of witches. A conflict ensued. There were many casualties. Afterwards, the Jedi conspired to keep their actions secret. Recently, when the truth threatened to come out, a rogue Jedi named Soul killed his accomplices to maintain the cover story.
Wow. And everyone just believes this. And let me get this straight. Nobody else had the wherewithal or the ability that Venestra has, even though Soul had that ability. And clearly, Indara, the other master, did as well. There's no other Jedi masters that can corroborate this and investigate this. They just take it, everything she says at face value without there being an actual investigation. She herself didn't even investigate things when Soul asked her to, or said these things were going on, until now.
I'm sorry, my friend. Speaking on behalf of the High Council, we wholly condemn the actions of Master Soul.
I think in light of these events, Chancellor, we cannot wait for a full Senate vote. An external review of the Jedi must begin immediately.
I can assure you, while this is a terrible tragedy, it was the work of one flawed man.
And where is Master Soul now?
He was found dead on Brendok, at the scene of his original crime. I believe he ended his own life.
And Soul didn't think to have any burial or whatever, or say any words about his friends, like she did. Oh well. She claimed it was a mistake he lived with for so long it twisted his mind, and she's here telling May that he justified all of his selfishness and the things that he did based on the fact that he loved your sister. And that's when May's like, my sister? What are you talking about?
I'm going to make this right. But I need your help.
With what?
I need you to help me find someone.
Who?
A pupil of mine, before he turned to evil.
And so we're probably gonna have May be exactly the same thing that she was in the beginning, and round we go. And then we see these guys back at their home world where the shirt flew off and they had that whole water bathing scene together. And it doesn't stop there, because now they're true partners in crime. They probably banged on the way back to the island or the ship, whatever. And he's like, I got you, bitch. Let's hold my shaft together. She's like, damn. Daddy, you making my noise extra pointy. And then we see the conclusion of them both standing together hand in hand as they look off into the sunset together dramatically so that the episode can end before they both release the farts they were holding. And with relief and giggling, they go back to being silly and eating soup together before they go into bed. And probably bring in the freaking elephant drumstick animals into the bed with them for some freaking foreplay, because that's how weird and unhinged these sociopaths are. This is basically a story about freaking sociopaths. And you know, maybe some people would be for this. I know there's some people that are. If there was actually any lead up to it, it just felt like two different shows melded into one, like the fan fiction part and then the other part that had some type of path that it claimed it was going down, but it just didn't go there. I feel like the show had 20 different directions it was going in, and it kept changing at every corner that we saw. I don't even have the words, but Forbes does. And even they were like, the Acolytes, sorry. The Acolyte was a mess from start to finish. And Tuesday night's jumble season finale only strengthens my belief that this was a show that needed about 3 more drafts before going into production. Everything about this show is rough and messy, and the 2 very fun cameos in the finale, which we'll discuss below, can't save it from itself. And oh, wait till you see the cameo.
Sorry to disturb you, Master. We need to talk.
Oh my god, Yoda this is. And if they said 2 cameos and the other one must have been that Grinch before Christmas that was hiding in the shadows in the island. I like how May caused all of this, caused her sister to go over to the dark side, but yet she gets off scot-free. It's clear that the show is going for the position of shining the Jedi in a bad light, from what Vanessa is doing, pinning all the crime on Sol, to hiding the fact that there's a presumable Sith Lord running around who actually killed all the Jedi, but she doesn't want to tell anyone. Witches are seen as innocent people who are minding their own business, creating life, and only pointing out that the Jedi are not the only ones who should have all this power. The show is very anti-Jedi, and I get it if you want to go that route, but to get an idea of why fans would be so angry at that, imagine if someone came into the Marvel Cinematic Universe to take over all of the stories, and then they change everything from henceforth Tony Stark, Thor, and all the heroes that you know and love who do have flaws, which is what makes them more human, you know, but we find out that they were super corrupt all along. Like, really, at that point, exactly who are we supposed to be rooting for? I know that human beings are complex with their motivations and whatnot, but when you're making a story, you need to have some kind of direction, especially if the franchise has always had that. If you want to show that everybody's bad while simultaneously showcasing that even though a certain group is doing something bad as well, they're somehow completely innocent and absolved of everything that they've done badly, it needs to have some direction. And the problem with the Acolyte is that the writers are never on the same page. The characters keep changing what they choose to do, what they believe, how they act. And I've gone over this in the previous episodes that I reviewed on how even the Sith Lord guy is very wishy-washy with his decision making. We also see that there's an inconsistency in the skill of the Jedi and the Sith Lord himself. One minute the guy can read minds and detect where people are, and then the next he's completely oblivious as to what's going on. One minute the Sith Lord can take down an entire small tribe of Jedi that are supposed to be super powerful. And the next, he's having a hard time holding his own against one when he previously already bested that same individual Jedi. The dude is super strong and has a lot of reflexes, but yet can't see a woman or perceive her coming who wasn't using the Force and at the time did not exercise the same skill set that he did. The show is messy and stupid and pretentious, and honestly, nobody takes this seriously. Sometimes fan fictions should just stay on the internet where they belong. But watch us get a season 2. If there they're okay with making more trash for people to laugh at and losing money while they're doing it, hey, I'm all for it. I didn't spend any money on this, and I'm glad I didn't. I wouldn't. Somebody else did, but I personally am never doing that. I think the Squid Games guy and the Sith guy did a great job with their acting, and if I'm to think of one other good thing, maybe some of the fights, but that's about it. Oh yeah, and the Torben guy was actually an interesting character, but we didn't even get to see that much about him. Yet another storyline that felt as though it could have been its own movie, but the show just didn't know what it wanted to be, and if I were anyone attached to the show, I'd be so embarrassed. If you're asking me if this is worse than Willow, at first I had a hard time coming up with an answer, but at least this didn't make me as viscerally angry as Willow did. So there is that.